which we have in this cool studio.
So every once in a while, we hear about movies.
Quite often we do.
We hear about
specific
kind
of
movies.
every once in a while.
Right. Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
Brothers Bloom.
Buzz movies.
Indie buzz movies.
Yep.
And we reviewed the trailer for Moon a few months ago, probably. Yeah. It's now out in New York and LA.
Yeah.
So,
which we live in one of those.
So we live in one of those. I'm sure it'll open wide soon. So stick tuned. But basically, Moon is from the son of David Bowie, Duncan Jones. It's his feature film debut. Very low budget, sci-fi.
Well, let's not say very low budget.
It is. It was a low budget film.
Well, but I mean, low budget in the Hollywood sense of probably maybe 5 to 10 million. Not low budget in the sense of...
Well, that's a low, I mean, that's a low budget. That's when people say low budget, that's what they mean.
I know, but I'm just explaining to them that they're going, wow, what's low budget? More money than I will ever make in my entire life is low budget. Because to me, I'd love to make a movie for $5 million. I'd be like, sure, let's call it low budget.
I don't even know if it was $5 million, but maybe. Sam Rockwell plays a... I don't know, a worker, a miner worker. He's Wall-E.
Yeah, he's a mining engineer.
Yeah, mining engineer on a moon station, a lunar...
On an automated, he's like the watch over of an automated mining operation.
Right. And it's kind of a 2001 Alien...
it's the live action version of Space Madness.
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
I was just going to say that. Actually. Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
But that's how it's sold, and I think it ends up being a very different movie from all of those things.
I would agree.
I didn't ask you, Jeff.
Well, interesting that you asked me that.
But
yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, it's pretty clear. Like, this movie is like totally tailor-made for me. I thought it was great. Super exciting that you can do so much with so little. You know, it's definitely, it's a little bit like Sunshine, where it's a little like it's a thinker that slowly happens over time. It's not like a bam, crap's happening. What? Aliens, I'm shooting them with my gun that I have because I'm a miner. Like, what? So it's not that kind of sci-fi. It's not like a sci-fi action adventure.
In this movie. Don't be confused.
But it actually does, I think, raises some very interesting ethical points and very interesting sort of, you know, mind-twisting points of, you know, how people change and what a person actually is. And I actually thought that Kevin Spacey did a great job as the voice of the sort of robot friend.
The Hal of the movie. The Hal of that,
but also I felt like it was what happens when they say Hal, maybe it's not that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's Hal, but with some feeling behind it, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's almost like, is the computer is sort of like what you would assume that the humans would be as far as what you would think to be human you would want to do in certain situations that arise in the movie. So I love that.
Yeah, it's a tough movie to talk about without giving stuff away. And it's definitely a movie you want to see without having had stuff being given away to you. I also liked it a lot, and it's the best of sci-fi, like you said, Alex. Challenges you to think about what the meaning of technology is, what the meaning of humanity is, what the meaning of progress and where we fall on that line of going too far. This movie is also a lot about loneliness and hope, and what it is to have hope and lose hope. It's a pretty interesting movie. It's not, I don't think it's on the level for me of The Brothers Bloom as far as like this great indie movie that everybody has to run out and see, but I think it's definitely a movie worth seeing. It's interesting, I'm watching the Up series in the UK. We've talked a lot about, been twittering a lot about, and that was a documentary they did in the UK with about 7-year-olds in the early 60s and then checking in on them every 7 years thereafter. And it reminded me, this movie made me think of that as well, of like, you know, if I were to be able to talk to myself only a few years ago, would I even like me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People change so much and your opinions change so much. Would you even be able to relate to yourself?
Yeah, interesting.
I think Sam Rockwell's performance is
Sam
quite
Rockwell
good.
is just amazing. I've been a fan of his since Galaxy Quest.
I really love this movie. Yeah, I mean, It is an incredible movie, and I highly recommend you run out to see it as soon as it gets to your theater. It's amazing. Every like 10 minutes, I had to reassess what. It's a mystery film, and the mystery basically changed every 10 minutes. I was like, oh, is this going on? Holy crap! And then 10 minutes later, it's like, holy crap! Is this going on? And I was like trying to put everything together, and then it became another film. It kept on changing the kind of movie it was in an incredible.
The best thing about it too is that a lot of movies that do that, especially science fiction movies, the main character is usually the least intelligent person involved. You know, like I'm thinking of Charlton Heston in Soylent Green. Like he's always being baffled by what's going on. These guys are always right there, like what I would think of, like, oh my God, I've come to that conclusion. They come to
Right.
They actually come to conclusions that are sort of, you would assume, end of movie revelations, like 30 minutes into the movie, and so you actually get to see, like, this is what's happening. How does it affect you? And how does it affect what you're thinking? And I think you're right. As it's going along, you're learning more and more. I mean, it was really good.
I also want to say the score. Clint Mansell, who is Steven Soderbergh's composer, but just did Darren Aronofsky's The Fountain, and this movie, amazing score. And it's interesting because Solaris is a similar film, and he did the score to Solaris in a completely different way. Great movie, great score.
Interesting.
Sam Rockwell, great. And we can't even tell you how great his performance is because
No.
describing his performance spoils the movie.
I can tell you, it's a 9.
Ah!